Hey there, Gemini. Welcome to your November bonus reading, and we are going to jump right in here. You have this Here and Now card and this Time for a Nap card showing up here. I kind of feel like you're getting a break, Gemini. That Here and Now card normally represents being present, but I kind of feel like something, it's like your wait is over, is more the feeling I get off of that card. And here you go, you have the Four of Swords. In the past, the Four of Swords is kind of like waiting for a blessing or, waiting for something that you've been hoping and praying for. And, it's almost like that is saying there's nothing more for you to do. It's like your wait is over or, what you're waiting for is here. We're going to take this card as well because it flipped over when I pulled that Seven of Cups out. So we'll take both. But yeah, I feel like your wait is over, Gemini. That's the best way I can put it. So let's see where this is going. In your current general energies, you have the King of Wands. You're like the third person to have the King of Wands in the same exact position, which is pretty interesting. I think it's interesting because next year, of course, in January and February, we have Neptune and Saturn will be moving back into Aries. And, the King of Wands wants us to be bold, assertive, confident, wants us to go for what we want. Especially Saturn in Aries is a very loud energy. If you think things are loud now, they're definitely going to get louder, once Saturn moves into Aries to stay for the next 2.5 years or so. And so what that means is that we have to be loud. We have to but we have to do it in the right way, right? You don't want to be a jerk. There's a big difference between being loud and being a jerk and being loud in the right way. So we have to show off in the right way. We have to, do work and put it out into the world. Of course, the King of Wands would be loud by being an innovator. He has the gift of foresight. He can almost see the future. And so we can be loud without being loud, right? We can innovate. We can come up with new ways of doing things. And you're a freaking Gemini. You are very good at doing that. So, I think that would be a great way for you to put yourself out there. I also feel this card is saying you're protected a little bit. He has these salamanders on his cloak, and this lizard right here is meant to be a salamander. The salamanders represent protection from fire or being protected from risk. I think that it is a bad and a good time to take risks right now at the same time. The type of risk that we should take is like the risk of being wrong, the risk of saying something and people getting mad, the risk of criticism, those types of risks. The bad risks are like uncalculated risk, taking a risk on something where you haven't educated yourself on the risk before you take the risk, right? We have Uranus retrograding from your sign into Taurus in the middle of the month. Uranus and Taurus wants you to know why you are doing something. So any risk you take, you don't even have to have a good answer, by the way, but if you just have an answer like I'm taking this risk because I think that it will do X, Y, Z, and I've done my research, then it's perfectly fine, right? But I do kind of feel you're protected from risk. You have the Two of Pentacles as your crossing energy. Too much going on for sure, Gemini. I feel this right now. I'm a Gemini moon, and so I definitely have this feeling of like too much going on. I'm being pulled in too many different directions. Is it a bad thing? No. I think it's just kind of like the energy that's going on right now. I do feel like picking one thing and finishing it at the end of the year is definitely a theme that has been coming up for multiple signs. So, instead of being scattered and instead of, ignoring something that's important, paying attention to it and finishing it. The reason I say that is we have these waves behind the person on the Two of Pentacles. They start kind of small over here and they get bigger as they go across the card. So sometimes I feel like the Two of Pentacles is something that is like part of our attention. We're paying attention to something or something is popping up in our attention as being important and maybe we're ignoring it. And so if you keep paying attention to something or thoughts keep popping into your head that are telling you to like do this or do that, do it. And don't ignore it with the Two of Pentacles. In the area of what's on your mind, you have the Hangman here, and I kind of feel like saying your wait is over, like I said at the beginning of the reading with that Here and Now card. He is in Hangman mode, but his head is glowing. He finally has the answers. He finally has the enlightenment he's been waiting for. He's hanging from the tree of knowledge and wisdom so that he can gain the answers he needs to be able to move forward. In the area of your future feelings, you have the Chariot. Charging forward. Your outcome is the Six of Swords, moving forward, right? So it's kind of like whatever has been preventing you from moving forward, or whatever you've been waiting for is you're finally making moves. And so I actually feel pretty good about this. I do feel like maybe you did need some answers. We're kind of in a weird time where we have to move forward no matter what, even if we don't have answers. But, I do feel like you're getting the answers. Next, in your foundation, you have the Three of Cups. Three Cups in your foundation is all about support. Three Cups is your community. So this could be community support, people in your life, your friends, your family, or if you have a community, your literal community. And the Three Cups is about concentrated connections. It's those really strong connections, those people who really come from a place of love and happiness and joy and all that other stuff. And so I think that, number one, you could find yourself being more supported this month. I also feel you could be celebrating a harvest this month. So if there's like something that you've been working on, we go up here to the Magician, to the Chariot. This is saying something very important to me, Gemini, for you. It's almost like saying to me that I think there's a victory that you could create right now that you don't have right now. I feel something needs to be transformed. I even noticed that you end with this shapeshift card. It says protection, magical power, and trickster, but it's a shapeshifter. The Magician is a little bit of a trickster, a little bit of a shapeshifter, but this doesn't have to be a bad thing. I feel specifically for those of you that are like working on a project, a business, or even a personal project, and you have the Hangman as well. He's looking at things from a different perspective. It's almost like saying you could have a victory this month if you change your perspective on what you're working on. I know that's a very broad statement, but it's like, can you change the way that you work on something? Can you change the way you promote something? That's what I would be thinking about to maybe have a harvest this month. Next, in the area of your past, you have this long road card. It says great distance, long wait, patience, slow growth, development pathway, long-term planning, nurture, and years. You have this disconnection. It says detached, alienation, indifference, reluctance, no interest, dissatisfied, missed opportunity, self-absorbed. I think this is, obviously it's good that this is coming up in the past position. The past position is what you are moving past. So I feel like you are moving past whatever this is here, which is great. I feel like you've been on a long journey. The long road card can kind of say that, a long journey brings rewards. The long journey that you've been on is bringing you some rewards. So you've definitely been working on something for a long time. You have the Four Swords also in the past, which is interesting. Four Swords is a very Mercury retrograde card, and we have Mercury retrograde. Other people have had this card, but like later in the reading. So it's like maybe you have already done the rest. He is resting and collecting his energy on the Four Swords. He's hoping and praying to receive something or get something off of this card. There's a person right here who's blessing another person. And so it's like, you've been waiting for a blessing to enter into your life. I kind of feel a mixture energy here, which is very Gemini. It's like part of me feels that you're creating a victory, like I said, with the Magician in the Chariot. But I also feel there is like a little bit of a divine push or something happening for you at this time, which is good. Like I feel a universe or maybe even people in your life are supporting this blessing that's coming in for you and kind of like pushing you forward more. So just all in all, I feel pretty good about this showing up. Next, in the area of your very near future, you have this Oracle card. It says, seek wisdom and guidance from elders. You have this Green Man card. It says, the forces of nature favor you. Yeah, like the universe favors you, is what I feel. I feel like you're getting a little bit of a divine push in this part of the reading. Like the Three of Cups, basically these three cards here are giving you the push that you need to kind of push you past whatever you've been waiting for here, Gemini. And obviously that's a good thing. I tell everyone we're in the time of the mentor. So, this card says, seek guidance from elders, or seek guidance and wisdom from elders. So if there are people you look up to or people you want to learn from, now is definitely a really good time to do that. You have the Magician. The Magician is pointing down to the Two of Wands. So sometimes I feel whatever he's pointing to is what you need to do. The Two of Wands, we'll talk about it in a second, but it basically wants you to leave a comfort zone. We're in an amazing time for reinvention, and you have that Shapeshifter card. If there's anything that you want to become, no matter how impossible it may seem, I would be embracing the energy of that thing, or adopting the habits. I think the easiest thing to do with the Magician is to adopt the skills and the habits of like what you want. So if there's like, if you want to be successful in business, there are certain skills, certain habits that people who are successful in those areas of life do. Same thing with love, right? If you want a successful relationship, there are certain things that people in successful relationships do. You don't have to be in a relationship. You don't have to be successful in business to go and do those things, right? And so the Magician says when we become what we want before we have it, then we can have it. So, that's what I would be doing. I would be adopting those new habits, those new belief systems. I even think sometimes with the Magician, it's good for overcoming obstacles or blockages to work on like money blocks, love blocks, whatever blockage you think you might have. There are 1.5 billion free videos on YouTube about how to overcome every single blockage that exists. So it might be a good month for you to just like pick one thing and work on it. You could do meditation, tapping, affirmations, whatever, right? I would pick like one thing and work on it. Next in your outcome, you have this eating and dining. It says nourishment, abundance, and community. There you go. 3 cups, abundance and community. You have this shapeshifter. It says protection, magical power, and trickster. So I would be nurturing things that matter to you. We are in a very nurturing time, especially this month, the middle of the month, when Uranus officially moves back into Taurus and retrogrades back into Taurus. It's going to be really important that we kind of like nurture the things that we care about, or nurture the things that we want to see grow and, build in our life, basically. And that's really what I would be focusing on with these 2 cards, for sure, is nurturing those things. I also think that the shapeshifter card is saying you just need to take the shape of the thing that you want to create. And sorry if you're hearing a weird noise, by the way, they're clearing my irrigation line, so I apologize for any hissing that you're hearing right now. But again, I would work on being the thing you want to be. Next, in the area of the next few months, you have the 2 of Wands. 2 of Wands wants you to take the lead, for sure. The 2 of Wands, he is standing at the top of this castle, but he needs to take the lead on a new journey. He has the world in his hands, and so he has to like step out into the world, and he has to kind of like do things differently, or he has to get attention differently, or something like that. And so he has to leave a comfort zone. You also have the Chariot and the 6 of Swords. 6 of Swords, they are the woman and the child in that boat. They're completely moving forward and completely releasing the past. So, the 2 of Wands is saying that it's time to like step into a new environment. It's time to create a new world. I think Geminis are for sure are definitely one of the signs that are creating a new world, literally, for themselves. So, I kind of think we are in a new world, if that makes sense. The energy is different. The energy is I think we can make different choices at this time, but we have to be brave to make those choices, right now. And so I would be bold, assertive, brave, all the things we said on the King of Wands. Next, in the area of your closest relationships, you have the 7 of Cups and the 2 of Swords. 7 of Cups says you're spoiled for choice. There really is no love here. That might change when we clarify, but you've been getting a lot of love with me. And, this part of the reading is meant to represent all connections in your life. And, I do feel there could be a lot of options in love if you want it. The 2 of Swords is like this or that thinking, but she needs to go to this island over here. Again, your superpower, Gemini, for the next, until 2033, is going to be you setting yourself apart. You doing things that no one else has thought of. You kind of combining ideas. Just keep an eye on this channel. Watch the shorts that I create over the next, couple of months here. I'm working on some new short projects, and, they're basically a combination of other things. You don't have to be a genius. I am no genius. I got straight D's. I fell on my head when I was 10 years old. How I graduated high school, I have no freaking clue, right? So if I can do it, you can do it. And, that's what I want to say here. I would also, coming up in the area of your closest relationships, 7 of Cups wants us to experience variety and wants us to realize that there are many ways we can do everything in life. And so I would just stay open to all ways of doing things and, learn from other people. Next, in your future feelings, you have the Chariot, which is amazing. Definitely a victory that you are creating. He's creating a victory by leaving the city behind him behind. He's charging forward in a new direction. Now that I think about it, the Chariot has been a very common energy this year, 2025. So I feel that, this has been a focus for everyone. It probably will continue because of Pluto and Aquarius. Pluto and Aquarius wants us to set ourselves apart. And so I think you need to embrace your Gemini eccentric nature and your eccentric ideas, and not be afraid to go against the grain. Against the grain. Don't be afraid of being a black sheep. If people are calling you weird, different, or saying that your ideas are crazy, good. That is a good thing. That should be confirmation for you that you're moving in the right direction, that you're setting yourself apart. He is just trusting alignment. He has these stars up here, these moons on his shoulders, and he is trusting that because he is in alignment with the energy of what he wants in life, he's going to get it. And, I think being in alignment is going to be very important for you with the Chariot. You end with your outcome as the Six of Swords. Six of Swords is moving on to calmer shores. So I definitely feel a lot of you could be moving on to calmer shores at this time and heading towards like luck and good energy. I do feel lucky here for some reason. I don't really consider Six of Swords to be luck, but one thing I will say is that the Six of Swords can be like a blank slate type of energy, where it's almost like you're like a fresh start, in the sense that you're getting to kind of redo something in some ways. And that's not all that this card means, and that's not even like the traditional meaning, but that's what I feel for you. It's almost like you're not starting from scratch. I think you need to realize that. Part of the problem with the Two of Wands is that it's like he is being asked to leave something behind. But he needs to realize that this wand behind him stands on its own. Like this part of his journey is over, but he's not necessarily leaving it behind. He can still get the benefits of the castle that he has built here. And so you might be feeling pulled to start something new or start something over, but there's a big opportunity in that. It's like you're getting to bring all your knowledge and wisdom from the past forward to something new. And so it's like, number one, if you're building something new, it's not going to take you nearly as long as it did the first time, but also it'll probably be more successful. With the King of Wands and the Two of Pentacles, you have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords is self-imposed restriction. Eight of Swords wants you to realize there's many ways to do anything. So again, Gemini, your superpower is being able to see all perspectives of something, especially with Uranus and Taurus, or Uranus and Gemini. And even though Uranus is leaving Gemini this month, it doesn't really matter. You still have already experienced the Uranus and Gemini energy, and so I would just stay open to all ways of doing things. With the Hangman, you have the Sun. Damn, love it. Very good card to get with the Hangman. The Hangman, his head is glowing. He's gaining enlightenment. The Sun is enlightenment. The Sun is light. The Sun shines a light on things that are important for you to pay attention to. The Sun shines a light on things that you should be working on or working with in general. And so, the Sun wants you to pay attention to your attention, basically. The Sun also makes the whole entire reading more positive. So, definitely could be a very good light energy coming in here. With the Three of Cups, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands definitely wants you to expand. I think we said that on the Two of Wands or something like that. Both cards want you to do that. Three of Wands and Two of Wands also wants you to take the lead. The Three of Wands sees an opportunity in front of him. He has these boats on the water here in front of him, and he needs to go get on those boats because they're going somewhere he doesn't know. It's like a blank adventure, but it will kind of expand his horizons, right? Which I think Gemini needs right now, is to, expand the horizons. I feel like Gemini needs the variety. We're having Mercury retrograde in your opposite sign, Sagittarius. Sagittarius is broadening horizons. Sagittarius is the adventurer, right? And so embracing any opportunities that could broaden your horizons would be a good idea. With the Four of Swords, you have the Two of Swords. Yeah, pretty good that this shows up here because we have the Two of Swords right here as well. Two of Swords is like this or that thinking, and she might feel like she's, or what? Let me start over. I feel like you have felt that you are stuck between like a rock and a hard place. But now, this island behind her kind of represents a new opportunity that could take her in a new direction. It's almost like you are, I don't really feel stuck, but I just feel rock in a hard place, like a decision that you haven't been able to make, and now you are. So it's like the wait is over, like I said at the beginning of the reading. So if you have felt stuck, I feel you are setting yourself free. With the Magician, you have the Five of Wands. Yes, needing to not care what people think. Again, Gemini, you are definitely going to have people that are telling you you're doing the wrong thing, you're crazy, you're eccentric, you're weird, blah, 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 right? And your answer should be, yes, good. Right? The other thing that people could be saying is you've changed. And again, good, right? It's like if people say you're different, you've changed, you should be saying, yeah, damn straight, I'm not the same like you have been forever, right? So don't be afraid of people saying that. Five of Wands is conflict or competition. Again, you are definitely going to experience the pressures of competition. The universe is trying to get Gemini to rise above the competition to completely set yourself apart. Like I said, with the Chariot and the Three of Wands and the Three of Cups, competition is over here. You need to be over here, like out off in outer space. Like you are so different than the competition that it doesn't even register. So any competition you're feeling, you should study the competition, see what they're doing, see what they're not doing, and set yourself apart. And if you do that, you'll be very happy that you did. With the Two of Wands, you have the Ace of Swords. Could be a victory coming in for you. Like I said, like a victory that you're creating here and here. The Ace of Swords can also represent some sort of sacrifice. We have this palm frond over here, this olive branch over here. The palm frond represents a kind of making a sacrifice. Like I said, I think this is very simple with the Six of Swords, that it's almost like you're being given a blank canvas or, a fresh start on something. So you might be starting something over or letting go of something that you've been working on to create something else. And if you are, I feel that is going to create a victory for you, Gemini. So I would do it. Let's see. I can't get a card. So let's see. With the Two of Swords and the Seven of Cups, you have the King of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles can be kind of like a new person. I do feel like you could be attracting a new person. King of Pentacles is good for love because it can represent a person who really wants to create something that works, a person who's very stable. I think sometimes the problem for Gemini with the King of Pentacles is that they're too predictable. So it's like, they might not be exciting or they might not seem exciting at first, but if you're looking for love, definitely, could be a solid connection. I also feel, again, that there could be a harvest that you're celebrating with other people. And so but this would be you focusing on the people who really support you, who really support your vision and your growth. And, those people could be the people that guide you towards something that could increase your abundance, because King of Pentacles is like wealth building. With the Chariot, here you go. You have the Wheel of Fortune. Yes, this changes everything. Basically, you moving in a unique direction, you going against the grain is going to be the thing that changes your fortunes. The Wheel of Fortune is luck. Didn't I say luck? I'm pretty sure I said it on the Six of Swords. Something about your luck changing, or it's like a lucky opportunity. The reason I think that this blank canvas idea is lucky for you, Gemini, is because it's almost like a second chance. It's like I feel that the Two of Swords in the past with the Four of Swords is saying that, it's like maybe you feel like you missed the boat on something. Like maybe there was an opportunity in the past and you feel like you missed out on it. It's almost like that's what I want to say, is that it's almost like an opportunity is coming back around. Is it really an opportunity? I don't know, because part of me feels like you're noticing something. It's like, I don't know. I really don't have a good answer. It's like Bitcoin. It's like maybe you knew about Bitcoin when it was like 30 cents, right? It's almost like there's something like that coming back around where it's not exactly the same opportunity, but it's similar. It reminds you of a past opportunity that you missed out on. I would be paying attention to anything like that where you're like, oh, this reminds me of this from the past. Could be a little bit of a blessing. With the Six of Swords, you have the Tower. Yes. So again, you could be creating your own Tower moment. The Tower is about admitting reality to yourself. With the Six of Swords, it's really not bad because, these people have been ignoring reality. They're coming down and seeing reality. So you could be admitting that something isn't working as well as it once was, and now you have to make a change. Also, by the way, the Tower, Six of Swords, and the Chariot can all represent making a move. So some of you could be like moving or just making moves in your life right now. You have this whale. It says, great worry over nothing. There's nothing to worry about at all, period. So I would let your fears go. You have this teapot. It says, deep friendship with someone of the same sex. I think it's an amazing time for Gemini. in particular to make new friends, 3 of Cups. So finding people, again, the concentrated connections, people who really support you, people who come from love, not fear, right? And, it's really going to be very important, especially next year. I think next year what we're going to see is that, if you're surrounding yourself with people who are screaming and crying about everything that's going to happen, then you're going to be stuck. If you surround yourself with people who look for opportunities, who embrace opportunity and come from a place of abundance, then that's what you'll experience. You have this Ram card that says a stubborn, aggressive person. I think this is who you need to become. Not in a bad way, but I think, kind of like sticking to your guns, deciding that when you make a choice, you just stick to it. And having that type of energy would be great. You have this basket. It says recognition, reward for merit. So there could be a victory and recognition for sure here, Gemini, based off of work that you're doing. You have this purse that says pay attention to your finances. Yes, I've been predicting this since 2016, literally. You can go back to my lives, my oldest ones. I used to say this all the time. The end of Neptune and Pisces, I literally used to say this all the time. The end of Neptune and Pisces would be crazy for money. I haven't been wrong, basically. So, I think that there's a lot of changes happening, and we're going to see a lot more at the beginning of the year, for sure, because Neptune will be moving into Aries in January. And so, again, even though it's clearing Pisces, it's like that's when stuff happens, right? So I wouldn't be worried about it. I would just pay attention. But this looks pretty good, Gemini, so thank you for being here. Make sure to leave a comment. Really helps me out. And definitely enjoy your month.